Akash Dudwani, and I'm the founder of Open Library on Green Economy. And we are a knowledge company based in India, and we are building the infrastructure for sustainable education. Okay, sustainability education, and our work is to make sustainability knowledge open, accessible, and organized. As a lot of us will know that the knowledge is really fragmented right now. It's in a lot of reports, research papers, and paywall. So we are trying to solve that problem with this library that we are building. And the library is open and free for all the students, professionals, and institutions, whoever would like to make use of it. Yeah, the basic idea is to have better education, because better education leads to better decisions, and better decisions lead to better outcomes. Yeah. So about the event, Afin is with us. A lot of thanks to Afin who has organized this event, and she will be anchoring it. I'm just giving the introduction about what we are doing and how we'll go about it. So today's event is about careers, uh, specifically careers in sustainability, climate, and ESG. We think this is really important to talk about at this time because the space is growing really fast, and the demand for people is equally much, and it is real. At the same time, there's a lot of confusion between people about how to enter the field, whether it's students or mid-career professionals. You know, and the classic thing where we are taught something else, and when we step into the real world, the actual landscape is something totally different. So the people joining us today, the speakers joining us today, are from the industry. So they can give us very real answers to whatever questions that we might have. Yeah. So we have three speakers. We have Rupam Tandon, we have Carlo Bartolucci, and we have Tilan Haparachi. So Rupam works in governance, risk, and transformation, and her background is from global financial services. Her focus is on ESG at the board level and also at the leadership level. So she knows a lot about how the leadership is held accountable for the kind of decisions the company makes related to the environment. So that's a really crucial part of ESG. Rupam has also written a book which is aimed at CXOs and board level stakeholder management. Yeah. Carlo is based in Brussels. He has almost 30 years of experience in the chemicals industry. He is also the founder of Polyedrica, so they work on sustainable value chains and uh, bioeconomy, so which is bio-based sustainable chemicals as well. He also runs TerraMark, which supports small Italian food producers, and they're focused on biodiversity and quality. So that's really cool thing. So his career really sits at a junction where industrial experience and entrepreneurship and sustainability converge, right? The third speaker with us today is Thilan. Thilan is the Chief Operating Officer at California Academy of Sustainability Management. He also brings around 30 years of experience in business strategy, tech, operations. He has also founded ventures in the past, and with California Academy of Sustainability Management, which is also a United Nations Global Compact participant, he works on embedding these things into actual operations. So basically, whatever sustainability strategy the academy has, he makes sure that the sustainability strategy is executed at an operational level. Yeah. So it's great that the three of them are from totally different backgrounds. I think this fact will add a lot of perspective to what a lot of people who want to enter the industry will want to hear. Yeah. So for the structure, each speaker will be speaking for around 5 minutes. Yeah. While they are talking, if anyone has any questions in their mind, they can drop the questions in the chat window, and Afin will take the questions to the speakers during the Q&A session, followed by the three speakers, following the speech of the three speakers. Yeah. Anyway, that's from me. Okay. I will pass on the speaking baton to Rupam. Rupam ji, yeah, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Akash, and the team. And I'm very happy to be here. Um, Everybody, thank you very much for joining in because it's wonderful to speak to an audience like that. So I'll start with if I had to tell my younger self banking operations role over 3 decades, that one day I would be speaking about sustainability, stakeholder management, and responsible business, I probably would not have believed it. I started my career in global financial sector, working across geographies and organizations such as Citibank, Fidelity, Northern Trust, just to name a few. And I was posted in UK, in UAE, etc. My work focused on governance, risk management, operations, transformation, and leadership, not sustainability. Yet today, I spend a significant amount of time working on ESG, governance, stakeholder management, board effectiveness, and sustainable business practices. My journey teaches one very important lesson. There is no one single pathway into sustainability. Some people come through environmental services. Others come from banking, law, technology, operations, HR, communication, public policy, engineering. You could name it, and any stream would be absolutely applicable to come into this sustainability line. It needs all these disciplines, and that is why this field is so very exciting and evolving at all points of time. Sustainability needs all these disciplines, and that is why this field is very exciting and evolving at all times. We are living through one of the biggest business transformations of our generation: climate change, resource scarcity, technology disruption, AI, geopolitical uncertainty, changing stakeholder expectations that are shaping how the organizations are going to be operating. Sustainability is so no longer a corporate initiative. It is increasingly becoming a business imperative. So what does sustainability work actually look like? To most, it would be an image where they would say sustainability means measuring carbon emissions or preparing ESG reports. That is true. But these activities are important and imperative, but sustainability is much broader than that. A typical day might look like helping leaders understand sustainability risk and opportunities, working with management on governance, accountability, engaging stakeholders such as investors, employees, customers, regulators, and communities, developing policies and frameworks, measuring impact and reporting performances, supporting business transactions, initiatives. In other words, sustainability is becoming part of how organizations make decisions, not a separate department. Sustainability is not a job, it is a way of solving problems, creating long-term value. One of the unique perspectives I have gained from working with senior management and leadership is Sustainability discussions are no longer limited to CSR teams or annual report. Everyone today is asking questions about climate, risk, supply chain, resilience, talent retention, ethical use of AI, stakeholder trust, long-term value creation. Sustainability has moved from margins to the board agenda. So what skills really matter? Technical knowledge is important, but the most successful professionals that I consistently meet these three traits. Systems thinking, which is thinking outside the box, being able to connect dots. They understand how environment, social, governance, technology, economic issues are all interrelated. Stakeholders, how you build relationships and the trust with them. And the third is communications. You may be a brilliant idea and the technical expertise, but if you're not able to communicate to the people, that idea will remain an idea. All right. My advice to the students and early career professionals is simple. Do not worry about a perfect degree or a certificate. The sustainability leaders of future will not be one who would know all the frameworks. They would be the ones who would be able to learn, adapt, and solve world problems. Sustainability is not just a profession, it's a mindset. The question is no longer, just give me 1 second more. The question is no longer whether sustainability will affect your career. The question is how prepared you will be when sustainability becomes a part of every career. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rupam, for sharing your insights and experience with us. And I'm so sorry to interrupt, but we're kind of on a tight schedule over here. Moving right along to our second speaker of the afternoon, I would now like to hand over the floor to Carlo. Over to you, Carlo.
I had to switch my audio. Yes, good afternoon or good morning, everyone, depending on where you are located. But yeah, thank you first for inviting me to participate to this discussion. It's a topic which I'm very passionate about, so thanks for joining this session. So the interesting thing, I mean, it's what I'm going to say. It's pretty much aligned to what Rupam just mentioned in her speech. And for me, the interesting thing about my background in relation to sustainability is that I leave the transition in the corporate world from something that used to be good to have to a key priority, which is embedded now in the governance of companies with reporting, KPIs, financial implications, and so on. So I hope to bring you some interesting insights and perspectives on this topic. When I started my career as a chemical engineer, sustainability was not a job title. So a long time ago, talking about 30 years ago. So I spent nearly, indeed, 30 years in the chemical industry, in multinational companies such as, ExxonMobil, and later also Aditya Birla. It's a company in India, maybe you're familiar with. And during most of that period, we talked about operational excellence, safety, efficiency, competitiveness. Today, we still talk about those things, but sustainability has become as an essential part of the conversation in companies. So what's interesting is that I did not enter sustainability through sustainability itself. I entered through industry. So over time, I realized that many of the biggest challenges facing industry, like climate change, resource scarcity, circularity, biodiversity, were no longer external issues. So they were becoming an integral part of the day-to-day business operations and issues. So, and that's also that realization that was one of the drivers leading me into entrepreneurship. Today, through Polyedrica, as Akash was mentioning, I work on projects linked to unsustainable value chains, bioeconomy. I explore, how renewable resources and biomass can contribute to the next generation of chemicals and materials. At the same time, I founded Terra Marche, is a company dedicated to promoting premium food products from small producers in Italy. So you might wonder, what is the connection between these two businesses? While this may seem very different from chemicals, I actually see the same sustainability principles at work, supporting biodiversity, responsible, agricultural practices, local value creation, and so on. So what does sustainability work actually look like? Many students imagine sustainability as a department. In reality, sustainability is increasingly becoming a capability that every function needs. So engineers, just to give you some examples, so it's multidisciplinary. So engineers design more efficient processes, procurement build responsible supply chains, finance professionals assess climate risks, marketing teams, they need to communicate sustainability claims. These are very important. So executives have to make strategic decisions, balancing, economic, environmental, and social objectives. Sorry. So the professional who will try, or often those who can connect these, worlds. It's multidisciplinary, as I was saying. So I would say if I had to identify the important skills for the future, and I think it's important for you to know, as students that are, thinking about engaging in a career in sustainability, is one, develop a strong foundation. So in your own discipline, because experience matters very much. So whether you're studying engineering, finance, economics, law, or communications, that's the foundation. Then the second, I'd say, learn to think in systems. Sustainability challenges are interconnected. There are junctions and rarely fit into one single discipline. So it's really cross-cutting over different areas. The third one, I would say, become comfortable with data. You don't need to be a data crunching person, but you need to understand data, because sustainability today is increasingly measured. You have KPIs, it's reported. It's not longer like it used to be. So develop communication skills. Many great ideas fail because people cannot explain clearly enough to decision makers, investors, and so on. So it's important to have a good communication. And that's what also OLGE is trying to do. So bring this literacy to everyone. So many students ask me, what careers will exist in sustainability? My answer is often, sustainability is no longer just a career category. It's becoming a dimension of almost every profession. So my advice to students in general is very simple. Don't wait for the perfect sustainability, job title. Join a company, learn how businesses operate, understand value chains, solve problems, and build expertise. Because sustainability needs professionals who understand how the real, business and economy works. And don't be afraid to cross disciplines. At the end, some of the most exciting opportunities today are really in the intersection. Someone mentioned that, between industry, academia, technology, public policy. So just one final, let's say, word, and I will close it. I would say this in general. So ESG, climate, and sustainability are not trends. They are no longer trends. They used to be that. When I joined the industry experience, the terminology may evolve. Regulations may change, priorities may shift, but I think the underlying challenge remains the same. How do we create economic prosperity while using resources, responsibly, and preserving opportunities for the future generations? That's what I feel. So that challenge will be with us for many decades to come. So it will create tremendous opportunities, I believe, and for talented people like you, I think, we're willing to learn, adapt, and lead. And you don't be afraid. This is really an area where you can have a lot of, let's say, gratifications over time. So thank you. That's what I wanted to basically share with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Carlo, for those valuable perspectives. To wrap up our individual speaker sessions before we head into the Q&A, let's welcome our final speaker, Thilan. The floor is yours, Thilan. You can speak now.
Thank you, everyone, and good evening, good morning to whoever are connecting from around the world. And I'm representing, and also thank you, Open Library. I'm excited to be here for the opportunity. And I represent California Academy of Sustainability from USA, and representing the region. My industry, actually, I would like to speak from the practical environment, since we talk about the career. I am an engineer, a computer engineer. I started my career as like that, and I have my engineering company still running with this sustainability value-added thing attached with that. And also I am an interior designer. I have an interior designing company as well. And apart from these two, now I have a bigger role at CSM, California Academy of Sustainability, because now we see a bigger demand in this area. You know, I just remind you, whoever I know, Paulo and Rupam will agree with me. Those eras, like when we start our time in late 90s, the computer literacy was biggest advantage for the career. Like even if we had a degree or PhD without knowing Word, Excel, PowerPoint, email, we couldn't get a job. Even a basic diploma of computer was a biggest advantage. Likewise, nowadays, sustainability has become the best plugin for each degree, each qualification, whatever you have. No matter you are a professional, you are a intern, you just completed your degree, or you are a school leaver, whoever. But in future, definitely you will have to have sustainability, because you can't do anything without knowing this subject, because there's a huge gap around the world for careers like jobs and things like in as an example, when I start my career as an engineer, there's a huge competition, and then later on I thought, why I just competitive with my own field, and then I started e-waste management, which is also connected with sustainability. And then my profitability became 50% higher than which I was doing. And then later on, when I start my interior career, I thought, rather than just doing the artificial interior thing, why I shouldn't move to sustainable related products and using sustainable eco-friendly products, why I shouldn't do interior in that way. And then only I contacted this California Academy of Sustainability. They educated and they trained me, and I qualified under California Academy of Sustainability to do how should I do carbon calculations, carbon emission calculations, and then how do a product add value with the sustainability. Now my era, this generation, always the new generation should have new value-added qualifications for completing your industry or adding your values. As an example, this shirt I'm wearing, this is a 50%, $50 added value, because this is a e-waste managed. Sorry, this is a sea waste. This is done by sea waste around the Sri Lankan sea. So likewise, each product you can tag with the sustainability value, and then you can increase your profit. Not only profit, we are helping the world. Today is World Environment Day, and it is very good to hear that we are all connected on such a nice, auspicious day. And we all here to let our children, our those who are waiting to hear why we are doing this, to say that the sustainability education will be biggest demanded area in future. So no matter wherever, whatever you do, just move to whatever things that helpful. And I think Open Library here, they can help guiding you whatever the areas you prefer to move into your next education level. And that is actually the initial and starting points I can give you all. And thank you so much once again for Open Library. And thank you all the guest speakers. And I got so many things from you all, also from your area. And have a lovely day, and wish you all good luck and all the best.
Thank you so much to all of our speakers, Rupam, Carlo, and Thilan. It was incredibly insightful to hear your perspectives. We're now going to open the floor to our 10-minute Q&A session, and we've had some useful and important questions sent to us generally from our students. So I'm just gonna read that out to you, and we can see who can take up those questions. So on getting started in your career in sustainability and ESG, the first question would be, I do not have a background in science or engineering. Can I still build a career in sustainability? Would Rupam like to perhaps answer that question?
Thank you very much. And as I had mentioned even earlier, my degree was in economics and I came from the financial sector. But I moved into ESG, into governance, into stakeholder management. And as I had mentioned even earlier, any degree is important for sustainability. All you need to do is be curious, keep learning, keep joining, platforms like this one that we are already into. See, what is of interest, and keep growing yourself or increasing your skill sets. Just have an open mindset.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Rupam. Another question related to certifications and degrees would be, are certifications like GHG protocol, CBTI, or ISO 14064 worth pursuing early in a career, or where do you start next? How about Carlo? Could you please answer that question for our student?
Well, I'd say, it's part of the learning process. I mean, of course, all these, certifications, to be honest, I'm not an expert in those areas either, but I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to have those, let's say, knowledges, of certifications early in your career. Of course, it's a learning path. And I think Rupan mentioned it correctly. Be curious and try to basically learn as much as you can. All these things are tools, but because you need to have a certain base knowledge. Like I was mentioning before, data are important. But to me, it's really like, what is the contribution? The question, one has always asked himself is, or herself, what contribution can I give into this sustainability journey? And of course, those certifications are important, and it's a part of the learning. But it's not like, okay, if you don't learn those things immediately in your early career, you will not be able to, let's say, operate a function in this space. That's my very honest answer to that question.
Thank you so much, Carlo. A question for Thilan would be, which sectors are hiring the most for sustainability roles right now, and which do you think are likely to grow?
Thank you. Actually, my point of view is every area there are so much of opportunities, especially export sector. When you are, if you are, industry like, even if you are exporting a small item in future to Europe, now especially countries like Sri Lanka, the biggest exporters, they should have all the licenses, certifications when you are exporting items. Now, earlier days, you could have been export anything to Europe, but now without going through ESG guidelines, you can't export even a small item, because their products are going to be blacklisted if you are exporting eco-friendly ESG guideline items. So every area, it is important. You can't say that this area is not important. So as I earlier mentioned, and as Carlo and Rupam mentioned, be curious. So whatever your area is, even finance, science, or banking sector, fashion designing, this is just a plugin. When we are doing Windows or whatever installation, you have to have these updates. Sustainability education is an update. Every day you have to update your knowledge, then only you are up to date with the world. This is my advice to students. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dylan. And our last question is to all of you again. And anyone and all three of you could answer this. How do you handle it when the organization you work for is not genuinely committed to sustainability and is only to the appearance of it? I would like to hear from all three of you a little bit about this.
So can I go first?
Sure, Rupam.
Sure. So fortunately for me, I have been working in organizations that have been, true to sustainability. But if the organization was not, true to it, it's your own individual self, because environment, social governance, etc. These should be embedded into your own DNA, and you should take those forward. So for me, I would say I was fortunate that I worked in organizations that had it, but had it not been there, I probably would have taken the baton and run with it.
Thank you so much, Rupam. What about you, Carlo? What do you think about this?
Well, it's not an easy question because, of course, these things, they have a very important, let's say, implications these days. At the time I joined the industry, it was very much about appearances. But we were basically, dealing with it as, okay, this is part of the corporate social responsibility, as we used to call it at the time. And then it has been, let's say, embedded into these ESG metrics, or much more, let's say, reporting is much more, let's say, rigorous these days as it used to be, because, and at the time I would not be so, let's say, rigorous on that. And today, if I see a company which is just, kind of faking, uh, sustainability, because sustainability has different dimensions. It's not only about the environment, it's also about people. And actually, it boils down to also, how if a company doesn't really give importance to those, issues, then you wonder, do I really want to stay in a place where, that dimension even related to people, so which is fair treatment of people, equality, and so on, is not really, caring about that. So I would say that today you need to make your choices, of course. And more and more I see companies are embracing that. So sustainability is important. So you cannot, let's say, move away from something like is now even part of your financial performance. So yeah, my answer is, well, I would probably walk away from, a company that doesn't really care much about, sustainability in all its perspectives, of course. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. I started as an engineer, as I mentioned earlier. So there's so much of competition in IT area. We were the biggest disaster of the world, wasting energy, all e-waste and everything. So those era, there was nothing called sustainability. We were just talking about saving, helping the world, planting trees and things. But nowadays, with these all disasters practically happening in our lifetime, now the sustainability has become the biggest topic. Not only that, with the market demands and competition, you have to differentiate your products. So always there should be something you need to add, like vehicles, like phones, everything. So the market and the demand of the business is increasing every day. And with that, people are looking for the sustainable things, like rather than just doing it in an artificial way, because now humans are thinking about more different ways, not like in our eras. So the 13 things are now the sustainable things. So when you feel you are helping the world, for purchasing a product which is closer to the sustainability of the world, and then definitely value is higher. Likewise, the product, even the services are the same. So my advice is, whatever the industries, whichever your position, this is just another plugin. And sustainability is mandatory in future. So you don't want to wait until your time comes. You have to have the knowledge, you have to have the capacity, and then you have to be it is whatever you start in today, you will be the experienced people in the world. Legends are becoming, starting from the start, those who are starting now. So whoever you start today, let's say you have the initial stage knowledge, and then after 5 years, you are the highest demanded person in the world. You will be headhunted because of your experience. Experience is most important now. Today, you have all AI, YouTube, everything. But someone who can share the experience from the industries, like, my colleagues I have from Tesla, Walmart, Apple, and we have a colleague working at Meta at this time. So those who are working on those multinational companies were headhunted from small companies. Those who are doing sustainability, project management, whatever the small things sometimes. So when you update your details on LinkedIn with your sustainability qualifications, now everybody is looking for in that area to hire you from your area. So this is my advice. I think, Finn, I have answered your question.
Thank you.
Right?
Thank you so much, Silan. That is all the time we have for questions today. Unfortunately, it is a time meeting. A huge thank you to our audience for the great question, and an even bigger thank you to our speakers for sharing their time and honest experience with us. If you have more questions, please feel free to reach out to us at info@ol-ge.org. It's been dropped in our chat box below, or visit our LinkedIn page, or drop them during conversations on our WhatsApp community group. You can find the links for those directly on our website. The link for that is also in the chat box. Thank you to everyone, and have a wonderful rest of your World Environment Day. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you so
Bye-bye,
much,
everybody.
everyone.
Thank you.